everybody, and welcome back to Noms. Yay!
From classics to children's books, you never know what she's gonna cook when Gretchen makes novel Noms.
I need to say thank you to everybody for their well wishes and for being patient with me while I was recuperating from some minor surgery that I had. So thank you for giving me that time. I am ready to get back to the kitchen and cooking and making some great novel Noms. So it's been a while since I've done a mailbag, so I have 3 letters from 3 wonderful people. I have Monica sent me a very cute little friend card and said some very sweet things. A card from Mandy from New Lenox, Illinois, and it's got owls on it, which also happen to be my favorite. It said some very nice things. And I also got a letter, very colorful, that she drew, and she wrote me a letter. And this is from Bronwyn, or Cimarron Gal from Rochester, New York, which is where I'm from, which is so cool. But she said some really sweet things, and I really appreciated it, and it actually came on a day that I was not in a very good mood, and it put me in a good mood, so thank you. And so, if you don't know, I have a P.O. box, and you can send me fun mail. If you want to send me a letter, you can send me a recipe, a challenge, a question, anything to do with cooking or books or whatever you want. I would love to get your mail. Check out the P.O. box right here. Alright, so this is going to be a very special episode of Novel Noms for me personally. I know most people's lives have been touched by cancer in some way, whether it's someone you knew, someone you were related to. You know, it's an awful, awful disease. But a good friend of mine from high school, her name is Cathy. Hey, Cathy. She's amazing, and she has been going through breast cancer. And one thing that has impressed me most about her is how vital she is and how energetic she is. And I'm a big believer in that food has healing capabilities, and it can prevent certain things, it can cure certain things, it can, if nothing else, bring your spirit to life. So I wanted to make this meal in honor of her. This is actually her favorite meal from her favorite restaurant back home, and it is almond chicken, and we're going to make it with a kale salad and rice pilaf. Wow! And the book that I'm going to ask her what book that she would recommend, and she recommended a book called Crazy Sexy Cancer, which sounds like an oxymoron, but she's amazing. She does like pole dancing, aerobics. She's positively fantastic. But she said that book helped her a lot, and talked a lot about how to eat right and how to keep your body working the way it's supposed to with really good foods. And they also have a whole series. There's one called Crazy Sexy Diet. And she encourages veganism and that kind of stuff, and we're going to make some meat, so whatever. But I wanted to do this episode in honor of her, in honor of anybody who has battled the disease or knows someone that has battled the disease, and we're going to make some great food that is great for you. Okay, so to start off, I've got some water boiling on the stove, and I'm going to add to it this pilaf mix. It's more of a wild rice. It's got all kinds of different grains. Grains are fantastic for you. They help your body process things, and you want whole grains. Kind of like the rule of thumb they always say is no white food, white flour, white sugar, white rice. Like all of that stuff is really processed. Like white rice is basically brown rice that's been scrubbed with chemicals. It's kind of gross when you think about it. So this is wild rice that's in its original form. There's all different versions of it, so it's going to give you some nutty flavors, some sweet flavors. And I'm just going to add that to some boiling water and get that cooking. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get our kale salad started. Kale is a very green, thick, coarse, leafy lettuce. It's very tough. If you were to eat it, it's kind of chewy. So what we're going to do is we're going to break it down and make it so that it's almost like it's going to marinate in these great flavors. Anything that's got that dark green leafiness, that's got great antioxidants in it that are great for you. I'm just going to cut the kale off of the stem, so that we don't get that overly fibrous stem in there with all of our beautiful leaves. And because kale is rough, we need to kind of soften it up. Like I said, we're almost going to marinate it before we add all the rest of the salad fixings to it. And we're gonna make our own dressing, but even if you wanted to add like a bottle dressing to this and not make your own dressing, you still wanna do this preparation because it'll help to break it down. Now all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these leaves and I'm kinda gonna gather them all up, and then I'm gonna roll them as much as I can. If I can't roll them, you just gather them up into a bunch. And what we're gonna do is you're just gonna take your knife and we're gonna do what's called a chiffonade, or a really thin ribbons of kale. Just keep bunching them up, makes them a lot easier to cut. Got amazing vitamins in there for you. And I'm gonna put that in the bowl. Now to get that to start breaking down, I need to add some things to it. First I'm gonna add in about a tablespoon and a half of lemon juice. Little rule of thumb, if you haven't seen it on TV, if you want to put lemon into something, you want to catch the seeds, because you don't want to like get a seed in your salads. You're just going to squish them and kind of like massage in that lemon juice. Get that working. And what's going to happen is the acid from the lemon is going to help start breaking down the fibers of the salad. I'm going to add in a little bit of olive oil. This is my fun new thing. It's got measurements on it, and it's got a little dropper so that I know exactly. I don't have to waste or dirty a teaspoon or a tablespoon 100 times over. I can just use this. There's my tablespoon. Ooh, a tablespoon of olive oil. And I'm going to mix it up again, get all that incorporated. Squeeze it. Squish it. Massage it, love it, own it. What I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to let this sit while we're cooking the rest of our dinner, and let that, the acid from the lemon start to break down that kale and really get in there. Alright, next is our almond chicken. The less processed stuff you eat, like those white foods that we were talking about, and fried stuff, like all that stuff that's not really natural, you know, the better you're going to feel, the more you can avoid those things. So we are going to kind of pan fry this chicken, but we're going to do it in just a little bit of oil. So it's all about moderation. I think that's the key. We're going to make the breading for our chicken. Now, I'm going to use a brown rice flour that I use just because of my dietary needs. You could use white flour if that's all you have, but you know, take a look in the store next time you go and see what other kinds of flour they have. I wouldn't bake with this, but I can use this for a breading and it works just fine. So I've got my brown rice flour. I'm going to add into it some almonds, some whole almonds, and these are salted. It's really important to know that because you don't want to add too much extra salt if you've already got salted almonds. So I'm going to add in a handful of almonds here. Almonds are great, have a lot of great yummy vitamins and antioxidants and chemicals that will be happy for your body in there. I'm going to add in some garlic powder, some pepper, and I'm going to add in a little bit of tarragon, which is very delicious. And we're just going to blend that up. Beautiful. Take a look at how pretty that is. Smells good. I'm just going to dump this onto a plate so that we can bread our chicken. Shimmy shake. And try it, like I always say, try the breading. It's perfect. The salt from those almonds is just enough. So I'm going to take a chicken breast. You could do this with a chicken thigh, that's fine, but you want it to be boneless. You could do this with other meats. You could do this with fish if you wanted to, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my chicken breast, stick it on my good old butcher block here, and I'm going to whack the crap out of it. Now you could do this with a glass, a mug, if that's all you have. I have a little frying pan. I'm just going to hit it. What you'll see is the fibers of the chicken will start to break down and it'll start to flatten out. You want it to be as much as, you know, the same thickness all the way across because you want it to cook evenly. I'm going to turn on my stovetop, get that hot, and I'm also going to add probably about 2 tablespoons of oil. You don't need a lot. It doesn't have to be like all the way up to, you know, like an inch worth of oil in there for it to do what it's supposed to do. We're going to let that come up to heat. Remember, it's hot when all the oil starts to move across the pan and spread out. My chicken breast, I'm just going to put it in my breading. Turn it over. I'm not going to use any egg. You can feel free to do that if you prefer that kind of a batter. You should hear that sizzle when you put the chicken in there, because otherwise your breading's going to get gummy. You want to put it in there and let it sit. And you're going to see that the white of the meat, that opaqueness is going to, the pink is going to change to white, and it's going to come up. And we're going to leave it on there for probably about 3 minutes, 4 minutes on each side. Right, now our chicken's done. Eating a lot. You can tell that you don't want a lot of give chicken if it's super, super soft. You don't want it to be soft like you want a steak to be soft, to be a little bit medium rare, so it's got a nice firmness to it. I'm going to take it out, put it on my plate, and let that rest. It's going to get crispy and juicy and yummy, and I'm going to use all that yummy stuff in there to make a beautiful sauce. I have amaretto liqueur, which is basically almond flavored alcohol. A little shot glass. I'm going to put 2 of these in here to deglaze that pan. What it's going to do is it's going to cook off the alcohol, but it's also going to pick up all those flavors that we put in the breading. The chicken, all of that is going to get into that sauce. Let it cook for just a couple minutes to get all that yummy stuff off the bottom of the pan. Now that liqueur has some sweetness to it, and I want to cut that a little bit. So I'm going to put about a tablespoon of some balsamic vinegar in there. That tartness is going to kind of balance out that sweet. That all the way down, so it's just on very, very barely on low to get that to reduce it a little bit more. I want to finish our salad. So I've got those kale leaves that we have been marinating and basically cooking and breaking down in that lemon and the olive oil. I'm going to take an orange, cut off the rind. Now I love to watch cooking shows, and I was always very daunted by a lot of the terms they use on there. And one of them they always use is a supreme of a fruit, usually an orange, a grapefruit. And basically all a supreme is, see those lines right there? All it is you want the orange without the pith, without that white part. So I'm just going to go cut, cut, and there we have a supreme. That's all that is. So I'm just going to supreme 1/2 of an orange. You could use those little mandarin oranges that come in a can if you don't have the time or the desire to make supremes. Okay, so you've got the orange in there. I've got some tarragon. A lot of the same stuff we put into the chicken. Some tarragon, some garlic powder, put a little bit of basil in there, a little pinch of salt, pinch of pepper, a little bit more lemon juice, just a little bit more of the olive oil. Just mix that up. And this is very similar to a green goddess dressing, if you've ever had that. So delicious. My friend Cathy is the goddess. I'm going to pour this on my salad. So we used hardly any oil. We've got fresh fruit in there. We've got this beautiful kale, which is so good for you. And I'm just going to kind of toss that in that dressing we just put in there. And again, this is going to get even better tomorrow. And the very last thing I'm going to do is going to take just about, I don't know, 5 or 6 almonds and crunch them up here. A little just dusting on my salad. Perfect. I've got my chicken. I'm going to add some of that beautiful wild rice, which again takes a little bit longer to cook. It's not going to cook in 14 minutes like your instant, but it's going to be so nutty and wonderful. And I don't even want to add anything to it because I think the rest of the flavors are going to add to the rice, that you don't want to overpower it. I'm going to put some of that beautiful kale salad. Color is fantastic too. And last but not least, we've got this beautiful almond sauce that we made just with the drippings from the chicken, balsamic vinegar, and almond liqueur. That's it. I'm just going to drizzle a little bit. Put some of that on my chicken, the rice, which tastes really good, by the way, mixed with the lettuce, I think. So good. Now you've got that crispy chicken that we cooked in healthy oil. Which you get the nutty, you get the sweet from the liqueur. It's absolutely fantastic. If you don't want to use alcohol, you can actually use almond extract and that'll be just as great. You just want to add a little bit more liquid. This is a fantastic, great for you, cancer fighting meal that's fantastic. And it's just dedicated with love to my friend Cathy, who fights it every single day of her life and is winning the battle. I hope you make this amazing meal, and I hope that you will donate to your favorite cancer fighting charity. I'm going to put a link down below if you do want to make a donation for a friend of mine who is walking in the 3-day breast cancer walk and is raising money to fight this disease. Have a great week. Enjoy your almond chicken with kale salad and rice pilaf, and I will see you next week.